Van Jones. Van Jones represents the modern boule of the black community. And we know the boule or the talented 10th or those that upper elite class of blacks that was anointed by the W man, the W folks. They was put in position as a cushion or to act like they're speaking for the black community, but they do nothing for the black community. They're virtually invisible to black community, especially black boys, for them to emulate. He talks a lot of black stuff and gets on TV and cries, but every time you see him, he gets all his funding from the W folks. He always has a W woman. You never see him with a black woman. He's always with a W woman. He's always talking black, but never really around black. You know, he gets on, they put him on TV, prop him up on CNN and all the news publications that you can find. Whenever something happened to a black person, he's on there talking. They don't never have the grassroots people that's actually around black people, that actually a great representation of black people, because he's handpicked. Y'all remember years back, y'all remember when Joe Biden got elected the president and he was on TV pissing out his damn eyes? You know, crying, just looking weak. Looking like a weak man, you know, and they had him, he was crying and pissing out his eyes and doing everything for anybody that would listen. Y'all remember when he did this?
Well, it's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Telling the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim in this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to be happier to have babies snatched away or send dreamers back for no reason. This is vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. You know, I can't breathe. You know, that wasn't just George Floyd. That was a lot of people that felt that they couldn't breathe. Every day you're waking up and you're getting these tweets and you just don't know. And you're going to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism are getting nastier and nastier to you. And you're worried about your kids and you're worried about your sister. And can she just go to Walmart and get back into her car without somebody saying something to her? And you spent so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together.
And then there was Van Jones calling for the end of Joe Biden's presidential campaign after that debacle of a debate with Trump. Y'all remember he was on TV again crying?
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all. And he looked, you know, I'll give you the analysis. You know, you kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now.
Now after people like Van Jones and Obama and them, because, you know, they get the black man to make it seem like there's some black representation of the black community, force him out. You know, he goes on CNN and does this thing. But again, these are people that are black faces that act like they speak for the black community, but they don't. They don't speak for the black community at all. They are part of the black elite class. But this is what he said when he went to CNN.
Democratic Party is a family. At the end of the day, this is a family matter. You know, Joe Biden's body may not be as strong as it used to be. His language skills may not be as sharp as it used to be. His heart is as big as ever. His heart is as big and as true and as strong. And this is the difference between a politician and a leader. He made a selfless decision, and people are heartbroken. Even people who are pushing for this to happen. It's kind of like when your grandpa, you got to take the keys, and everybody, you got to take his keys, you got to take his keys,
and he's fighting, and everybody's so frustrated. And then you finally get the keys back. And then you just cry. Because this is somebody that you love. This is somebody that you care about. This is somebody who was there for you. This is somebody you wouldn't be here without him. And you have to take something from him. Now, this is not, look, politics is politics. But this is a human moment for one of the great humans in America. This is a huge moment for him, for his family, for all of us who love him, for all of us who wanted him to get across the finish line. But if you're a young person watching this, this is leadership. This is patriotism. This is what it means to put the country first, and put the party first, and put the cause first. When your arm gets tired, you let somebody else finish pitching the game. That's what Joe Biden has done, and he's done that for all of us. And so I just want to say, I don't know who's going to be the VP, the non-VP. I don't know anything about politics. I just know that I love this man. I care about this man. It was painful every day to sit up here and talk about him like he's just a, some problem for the party. Wait till we get to the convention. You're going to see people crying, standing, screaming, cheering. He may not get a chance to talk for 10 minutes when we finally get a chance to put our arm around this guy. He did the right thing for this country. He did the right thing for this party. All of us are going to be in this situation someday, and I hope that we take a moment to honor this man and to love this man. I love Joe Biden. I appreciate what he's done, and a lot of people are heartbroken today. Even if it's the right thing, it's still just horrible.
And see, Mr. Van Jones, with your W woman, and your elite status amongst the W class, you say that you speak for the black community, but you've been around Joe Biden. You know Joe Biden's relationship with Strom Thurmond. You know Joe Biden's responsible for becoming the so-called drug czar in the Senate and getting bills passed, writing bills and getting them passed. As a black man, you know what he represented and what his policies represented and what he stood for. Explain to me, Mr. Boule Van, Mr. Captain always pissing out his damn eyes. Explain this to the black community.
Take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter, or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now.
So it's funny how that was your president on the Senate floor talking, and Trump is the worst president that we ever had, they said. I don't rock with Trump. I don't support Trump at all. I don't support a lot of his policies at all. But I'm not going to turn a blind eye and be oblivious to Joe Biden and his policies. Joe Biden didn't give a darn about what our people had went through as a people. He was best friends with Strom Thurmond. He knew that there was policies on the book to protect us. There was federal laws on the books to protect us, and he knew that state law was not enacting those laws to give us equal protection under the law. He understood back then about housing, how the heroin holocaust had ravaged our communities, how crack had ravaged our communities. He knew that our schools were underfunded. We was underdeveloped. He understood this. But he fought tooth and nail to get the look it up, y'all, the Criminal Justice Reform Act of 1982. That was him and Strom Thurmond. The Criminal Justice Reform Act. He fought to get that passed. Then what about the Comprehensive Control Act? Again, 1984. The Comprehensive Control Act, right? 84. 86. The Anti-Drug Abuse Act that had the 101 crack law. Him and Strom Thurmond. That's your boy Joe Biden. Right? Then he went to 1988. And that was another reform part of the Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 88. So you had an Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 86 and one of 88. Right? And then you had the 94 crime bill that everybody talks about. He didn't give a darn about developing our peoples. He was creating a multi-billion-dollar prison industry that they was all well invested in. And he got Ronald Reagan to sign off on the Criminal Reform Act, the Anti-Drug Abuse Act. They was all in cahoots together. They understood what was happening in our communities. They understood during the Nixon administration with the war on drugs and what the heroin was doing on the East Coast, ravaging the black communities. Just coming out of the Vietnam War and how the Vietnam War was a catalyst to move heroin through the communities to actually fund wars. They knew this. They understood during the time of Vietnam, these narco states that was going on over there in Southeast Asia. They knew all this. But yet and still, he get to be your president. He gets to be your president. And black folks are so ignorant to history. And those that's not ignorant to history, like Van Jones and them, they represent that boule elite class that act like they speak for black, but they don't. There's nothing about him that represents black. Nothing. He went to all the elite schools. He does not identify with the average black person. But he's the one that's propped up in your face. And the ones that they put on TV every day, crying in every 3 seconds. But that's what it is, man. That's your boy Van Jones. But I'm going to cut this video short right here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.